Brothers, quick introduction of yourself. We'll start here and then we'll go there and we'll go back and forth.
My name is Dominic Nixon, and I stand here in front of you on behalf of Pedal Pushers. What Pedal Pushers is a nonprofit cycling club, and what I like to do is get families, people that look like us, out in the community riding bikes. Something that I started during the pandemic. That's 2020, so we going on 5 years. So it take y'all to come ride bikes with us for us to keep it going. So if you're looking for a bike, you don't have a bike, you're thinking about getting a bike, reach out to me. I may have an extra, or I may be able to direct you to how to get a bike that fits your size.
Good afternoon. My name is Keith Holmes. I'm here representing Fathers Incorporated. And Fathers Incorporated is basically an agency here in Atlanta that helps dads navigate the court system. So dads that need help with legitimation assistance, child support, visitation, anything surrounding fatherhood. We offer fatherhood classes, and a part of those classes are workshops where we do workouts. And like he said, if this ain't right, this ain't right. So we try to build you up from the feet up. So.
Peace and blessings, my brothers. My name is Rick Ross. I am the founder and CEO of the Music Education Group, which is a nonprofit organization. And our mission is to teach life skills and career development through music, film, and digital media. I'm also the owner of Big Peach Running Co., which is a specialty running store that we sell running and walking shoes.
Good evening, fellas. My name is Michael Scott. I am the founder and the president of the Morehouse Basketball Alumni Organization, also known as Hoop Fi Hoop. I'm also the founder and the executive producer of the E-Athlete. The E-Athlete is a multimedia company that showcases unique athletes from all different spectrums, whether it's gamers, whether it's impaired athletes, inspired by my brother Savon right here. And yeah. And essentially what the premise around the brand is getting men and people to focus on your capabilities rather than your disabilities. We're all able. No one's disabled. We're all able to do what God has called us to do.
Was physical health always important in your life, or was there a moment where you realized that it's more important than you were initially given it credit for?
I'll start since I have the mic. First of all, let me give a shout out to my brother Savon. Savon is actually one of our engineers for my program. So he goes around to all of these schools in the city of Atlanta and teaching our teachers on how to use the hardware and software. So I just want to give a shout out to Savon. He's teachers love him. For me, I've been running my whole life. Like my mom said. Yeah, my mom said I would run out the house in the project and be running through the projects butt naked. So I guess I've always been running, but I just always had an affinity for running. I played soccer and ran cross country in high school. Messed my knees up, so thought I wouldn't be able to ever run again. So that kind of eliminated my track scholarship. But since then, man, I've run anything from 5Ks to ultras. And the ultra marathon is anything over 26 miles. So I completed 3 ultras last year, 2 50Ks and a 100. So for me, it's it's a lifestyle. I've been running, like I said, I've been running these races for forever, man, and really never seen a lot of people of color running, especially when you're talking about marathons and ultras. So, now it's become this whole big fad thing, and my mission is to not make it a fad, but as we say, make it a lifestyle, because we know when it's a lifestyle, it's something that we're going to stick with. Fads come and go. We can start something, jump on it, and jump off of it in a heartbeat, but how do we continue to push the button and make it a lifestyle?
And how young are you? Because you said you've done ultra marathon.
I'm 58.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, I guess I'll go. Well, I grew up in a very competitive environment. My dad played in the NFL for some time, and that's how we got out of what they would call the hood. I'm originally from Prince George's County, Maryland, right outside D.C. My parents had me at 18, so with that being my primary male influence, sports and athletics was always big in my life and in my family's life. So when but with my parents not necessarily being married, and it was still kind of a single mother, single father kind of thing going back and forth with him living the lifestyle he lived. One thing that always kept me connected to him was athletics and staying in shape. And he would call me and be like, make sure you're doing your push-ups at night and things of that nature. So it definitely became a habit. And then when I moved with him, that's when I really got focused on sports and ended up getting a scholarship to Morehouse to play basketball. And which led me to, but one thing that also kept me inspired to stay physically fit and was my brother. Seeing him figure out ways to compete and figure out ways to play sports and all the different things, even though he's physically limb different, that's the proper term for him. He inspired me to just be like, hey, if he can figure out a way to catch a football, shoot a basketball, and do all these things, then I have no excuse. So that's what kept me going, and that's why I still work out every day, still to this day.
For me, what really brought this whole thing about was the pandemic. Everybody was in the house, church was closed, and the gym was closed. I, too, have young children. I'm trying to figure out how we can all do something inclusively, and we all had bikes. So I put out a call on Facebook, like 25 people showed up. That was 4 years ago. So it was just a way to kind of build off of what I've been known to do. Everybody who's probably been born in the 70s or 80s, you know, we used to ride bikes. That was like our first car. And we'd be 3, 4, 5, 6 miles away from home. And you don't even know you're that far away from home unless somebody catch you on the other side of town. Like, dang, oh, okay, let me get back on my side. But so that's what kind of prompted me to do it. And then in that, the fellowship that it brought, and it allowed me to mentor other people. Because, I don't know, most of us may be parents, but if my child is going through something, he's typically not going to talk to me. But if we're hanging out, he'll more likely tell him what's going on so I could use him as a conduit to get to my son. And that's how we would flip it on the kids. They don't know what's going on, but then before you know it, we're helping them solve and resolve their problems. We're building fellowship. We're exchanging information in regards to what you do for a living, and we exercising. So I might not look like the most physical fit, but I probably could ride a bike over 100 miles more than most people in here that, you know, go to the gym and do all those other exercises.
Growing up, sports is always a part of my life. Where I come from, that's all I knew. It kept me out the streets. Having a single mother, so playing football, basketball, baseball, up into college, it helped. I got a scholarship at Savannah State to play football, and it just kind of kept me out the streets. And so even to this day, working out and staying fit, it's like therapy. So I work in like the mental health field, and so for me, working out and going, training and still lifting weights to this day, it helps me, you know, with my mental health and with my physical opponent. So I do that as therapy for myself. And like I said, it's always a tool for me to go this way. I had friends that's dead in jail. They went the opposite way. So playing sports was always a way for me to stay out the streets and do what I need to do and to learn discipline. And now I try to teach that discipline to my youth as a coach and as a, like I said, a mental health provider. So,
What would you guys say is a method, if you will, of getting started, right? Because a lot of times that's the biggest piece of just getting started and then staying committed to something. What do you think is some ways that we can share?
Getting started. Getting started. Make a commitment to just do something than something that you wasn't doing the previous year. Whether it's walking through your neighborhood, you know, quit setting these high goals that I'm going to go to the gym, you know, every day, because you're not. Life happens. Life be lifing, as they say. Just take it day by day. When, you know, I was just telling a couple of the brothers, when I moved to Charlotte, I was in Charlotte for 10 years. When I left Atlanta in 91, I was running every day. Like, literally, I would leave my branch, leave the office, and I would go home, drop my stuff off, and hit the street. Every day. When I moved to Charlotte, that didn't happen. Life be lifing, new job, new situation. I was trying to continue to set those same standards and working out. When I looked up, it was 10 years that I hadn't run. So when I moved back to Atlanta, I could only run a mile a day. That was it. Like literally, I would run a mile a day. And I didn't make no commitment to myself the following day that I was going to get out there and do it. I would just get up and I would do it. So we have to quit setting these goals that we know that we're not going to be able to achieve, and just do it. And as you continue to do it, it becomes a habit. Once it becomes a habit, man, then you're gonna be like, dang, man, I gotta work. When I don't work out, man, I feel weird the entire day. Like if I don't run on a day, I'm off, because it's just part of who I am and what I do, and that's for anything. Like D said, man, I ride, but I don't ride like he ride. This dude ride, and I can't keep up with him. No, dude, riding and running are two totally different sports. Don't get it twisted. Like, you would not believe the energy that it takes to move a bike. But I go back to what I'm saying. So guys, if you're not working out and you say you want to, just start. Whether it's walking, don't put a lot of stress on yourself. Don't say you're gonna be in the gym every day, because you're not. So I just say just start doing something.
Find something that you enjoy. It's going to be something that you enjoy, whether it's walking, running. Like I used to date a young lady, and she took me to hot yoga and Pilates, and I went with her. I didn't think I would like it, and I really didn't. But if you like being around a lot of beautiful women and you want to get in shape, you need to get up in there. It's a lot of different methods, and I'm telling you, they all fine in there. So if that's something you enjoy, but if you like skating, or there's a multitude of different ways you can get in shape. You don't have to just do it the old-fashioned, lifting weights and just running. Just do something to make sure that you are moving your body on a consistent basis so you can keep it healthy and strong.
Baby steps, man. Just, because I think a lot of times we get in our own head. You know what I mean? Like, we do this negative self-talk. Everybody done it. I don't care how positive you are. It just happens, you know what I mean? So you get to the point where it's like, I ain't go today. Man, I'm going to be fat forever. I'm never going to reach my goals, or I might as well eat that cheeseburger, you know what I mean? So when it comes to your fitness goals, a lot of times we focus on the physical, but sometimes it's just a matter of cutting that extra beer out for the week. Or sometimes it's a matter of, all right, I'm going to just skip breakfast. Or maybe let me just fast for a couple of days. So, we all tend to, this is what we're here for, and we kind of exchanging different recipes, but sometimes it's just a matter of your thought process. You know what I mean? Okay, I ain't going to be able to make it today. Like with us riding bikes, it's cold outside, so you're not going to see me outside. But something physical has to be done, so I got to figure that out. I still ain't figured it out. I ain't going to the gym like I should, and when I go to the gym, I don't want to ride the bike. So it's like, So, you know what I mean? To each his own. Like you said, you got to figure out what works for you and just kind of stick to that. You know what I mean? Because whatever the goal is, it's between you and yourself. So the only person you letting down is you. You can say, oh, Big Mama had heart problems, so I don't want to. Big Mama gone, man. You got to do it for you. You know what I mean? So trying to use that as motivation is great, but at the end of the day, it's totally up to you. So that's what I got.
Just set realistic expectations, and like the saying say, brick by brick. We're going to start off trying to run 5 miles the first day. Like you said, run a half a mile, walk a half a mile until you build yourself up or whatever, until it becomes a habit. And like any habit, like he said, any habit you start, if you stop it, you're not going to feel the same way the next day. So like going to the gym every day. If I don't go to the gym, I feel something don't feel right. If I don't just go get in the sauna, the sweat, something don't feel right. When I used to drink, when I stopped, I didn't feel right. It was a habit, right? So with any habit you do, it takes time to build up that habit. And once you build up that habit, it's easier for you to maintain it versus quitting. But like I said, at this point, it's hard for me to quit because I don't feel the same way I do when I work out versus when I don't work out. Like I said, it took time, though, to build it up. And another alternative in closing, I can't run like these guys. I'm not riding a bike like my man. I can't run 5K, but I still got to do cardio. So I trick myself into playing basketball. I go on the court and run up and down and play an hour of basketball, get my cardio in that way. So you got to find out what's works for you.
I would suggest or comment is utilize if you have technology like your watch to set goals of your steps you want to have for a day, but also have an accountability partner. You can keep yourself accountable by meeting your goals on your watch or your phone, but also have a buddy that you can say, hey, I did my exercise for the day, and they did theirs, post it, send them a picture. So that way you and your friend or your buddy, your accountability partner is keeping each other accountable on this journey of health and wellness. And then hiking is another one too. And being outside, getting some good vitamin D, and fresh air is another alternative. Yeah, when it's not, well, even if it's cold, just bundle up, we can bundle up. And then if you got to go inside, I do teach yoga and cycling and aquafit at the LA Fitness. So try those things too.
I heard a thought that part of fitness and anything is making it a part of your identity. So like Rick, you consider yourself a runner now, right? Like once you're something, then you become that, and you have to, like people who say I'm a writer, they write. And so can y'all talk a little bit about how your decision is a part of your identity and how we can be intentional about making what we do a part of our identity versus something we do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I didn't do it intentionally, but people just started knowing me more for running. Like my IG name is Rick the Runner. So I embraced it because that's what I do. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't like I was trying to get, notice on social media or anything like that. It's just who I am. So for me, it's part of me. Like from the time I get up to the time I go to sleep. That's why I, as I retired from the entertainment industry, my second passion was running, and I wanted to make that my living. In exposing people to this, it's probably the best thing that's ever happened to me outside of giving my life to Christ and marrying my wife. Has kept me sane, and I noticed that especially, and we could talk about the mental space with running and walking, also, and how that has helped me, especially during COVID when my dad died and my father-in-law both died from COVID. The only thing that was keeping me sane was running, which is part of who I am. So, when people, they look at me, they know me, they like, yo, he is that dude. He is that dude that runs. But, you gotta love this thing. Like it's gotta be like in you. That's what I tell people all the time. Like, man, I'm just like I was passionate about the music. I'm passionate about running, but I'm more passionate about exposing people to the art of running and how the benefits of it, and how it could really have a big impact on your life. Like we can sit up here and we can talk about this all day. I just got off the phone the other night with brother Rick Mathis, and we, for you guys don't know, Rick is a filmmaker, and the dude almost died a couple of months ago and had a massive heart attack that came out of nowhere. It's only by the grace of God and because he walked and run that he's here today. And I've heard stories about people falling out literally right at the finish line and dying running. So, so for me, this is just, it's just who I am, man. I didn't ask for this. It's just what it is,
I would say, to answer Mrs. Davis's question, what I would do for anyone that's trying to establish their identity with their physical health is think back to your most fundamental stages of life when you was a child. When you first come out, you haven't been, like, I'm not really a hooper. Like, and I'm glad he said that because that's not really my identity. I became an athlete because my father was an athlete. You understand what I'm saying? When I started to really think about me fundamentally, I'm a storyteller. I am a writer. I am a producer and things of that nature. So I merged two together, and that's how you came up with the E-Athlete. But once basketball was no more, when I played at Morehouse and I tore my labrum in my shoulder my last year at Clayton State. Didn't had aspiration of playing professionally and all that, but once I realized that wasn't really in the cards for me no more, I had to go back to that place and really figure out who am I. And that's what I would do when before you get out here and set these goals, try to think about what would you like to do as a child? Did you like to go skating? Did you get excited every time your mama took you skating? Did you like to run like Mr. Rick as a child? Because God, when he created you with certain gifts and tendencies for a reason. So when you take the time to recognize what God originally put in you as a child, it's going to help you align with who God has called you to be as a man. So that's one thing I learned in terms of the high identity piece. And I think when you reflect upon that, that's going to help you figure out what you're going to enjoy doing, because something that you enjoy is going to be a lot easier to make it into a habit than something that you can't stand.
You got to create it. You got to make it a habit. Like any habit, you got to make it a habit. You got to start, and you got to keep going each day. Like I said, brick by brick. And next thing you look up, it's your identity. It's natural. It don't feel like a habit anymore. It don't feel like, oh man, I got to go run. I got to go work out. I got to do this. You be consistent with it, and you start seeing the difference of how you feel versus when you working out and when you don't work out. It don't become a chore or a must do. It becomes a habit. Like you got to have it. You feel empty when you don't do it. So like you said, just being consistent and just starting and starting off and gradually going up. And then next thing you know, it's your identity. It's who you are. Like I said, it's natural. It's not really who you are, but it comes natural to you. You don't feel the same when you don't do it. So
That was that question. I don't know. I guess because I ride bikes, that would make me a cyclist. But I don't. I what I thought to do, because like most people, we have many other talents. I just brought my personality to the bike. So if you ride with us, you're not gonna see us in the tight kits and the, and the onesies and the. Now there are people that'll bring that's what they roll. That's how they vibe. But I just figured, hey man, I bring So I always got something to match my clothes. I went and spent money on a chain because it's like I want my brand to speak for me. You know what I mean? So when I'm off the bike, that's the guy that ride bikes versus I got to show up with my helmet and my bike every time you see me, so because I don't physically like what someone ride bikes look like. So I figured I'd just bring me to the bike, and it's worked. So
can you talk a little bit about how we can use technology to help us with our goals, and not just apps, but if you find that you have, for example, a passion in music, then connect with workouts that feature the music that you like. Okay, and if you have if you're a visual learner, then maybe going to YouTube and kind of seeing a regimen that works for you, but not only just you, but a buddy of yours who will be your accountability partner, or brothers, get your ladies involved. My wife and I, she discovered this workout that she's in love with, and we do it together. And it's only 20 or 30 minutes. It's it's on YouTube. We do it together, and that's another way of not only taking care of ourselves, part of our lifestyle of eating right and having a meatless Monday is something you can try, just to try to get your body feeling like you want to work out, and drinking plenty of water, dropping the sodas is another thing. This incremental goals like that will make you feel different and will help motivate you to transition to whatever sport you like. And the last thing is for the athletes that are getting older, and we find out when you got a meniscus issues, so I can't run like I used to. I was a distance runner, but then I decided what can I work on that I've always wanted to do for a long time, and here's my chance now to do it. And it turned out to be swimming. And so I just worked on swimming and seeing those people doing those laps and that poetic motion. That's something that I can now do because I kind of focused on it and said, now, this is something that's not going to hurt me physically as much, because you seldom hear about injuries from swimmers, but they can happen. But it's found
About 8 of us, and we've been on a thread for the last 4 years, almost 5 years, every day, and we do fitness check-ins every morning, like clockwork. My phone be going off. So you're absolutely right. If it wasn't for those guys, some days I wouldn't even work out. But I get up and I see that somebody did a fitness check-in. They start like at 5 or 6 in the morning. And by the time I get up, I hit mine and we all check in. So that's good to have accountability partners. In terms of the technology, I'm a tech freak anyway. So watches, and we were talking about being on the treadmill earlier. I just brought a new treadmill with the iFit on it. But I also have a TV in front of me, and only thing I look at is like ultra running videos to just keep me inspired. So you just have to find those things that keep you, that keep you motivated. I can't run without music. I've done it, but I like music more. But now I've gotten into audiobooks. So you just have to find what works for you.
Just add to what everybody is saying as far as fitness. After my divorce, I wasn't motivated to work out and or to do anything. You wake up with the kids and you moving with the kids and stuff like that, and your routine is all switched up. And it's like, I don't want to do push-ups for what? My boys ain't looking at me. I'm not doing it with them. But then what I noticed is if I clean up the night before, then I'm more motivated to run the next morning, or I'm more motivated to go to the gym. So sometimes it's not starting out with a workout. It's starting out by changing those habits, and it may be just cleaning up. And because you're not motivated to go work out if your house dirty, or your shoes is dirty, the shoes that you like, go clean all your shoes. And now you're like, damn, I got some clean shoes. Let me go ahead to the gym, or even doing those 20 push-ups before I go to bed, and 20 push-ups when I wake up. Now I'm more motivated to do some more things, And then I wanted to get with you because as far as one of those depression things is child support and with the kids. So I'd love to talk to you. I was on the phone with a lawyer today about the arrears and saying that there's no way that I can bring down my arrears. I know we're supposed to stick to fitness, but there's a lot of brothers up here. And when you ask that question about accountability and pairing yourself with this is who I am, all I heard was that all entrepreneurs who took their passions and turned it into philanthropy. So taking what it is that you love to do and giving back. And sometimes that will motivate you into fitness, motivate you into keep playing basketball, into playing basketball with young kids and others and keeping you active and things of that nature. So this isn't a conversation about fitness. This is more a conversation about getting started and giving back and things of that nature. So
minimizing the goals as far as those things that you want to build habits about. So I was watching Cam Newton's podcast one day, and he said something that stuck with me to this day. And he said, every hour I do 25 push-ups. Every hour I do 25 push-ups. I'm at the crib. I started calculating. I'm like, okay, 25 is how many hours in a day? He doing 25? Okay, cool. If I was to do that, I literally started setting an alarm. I had an alarm going off every single hour throughout the day, and I would just stop what I was doing and I'd just drop. I just drop and do 25. I can't even explain to y'all what that did to my confidence as far as being able to do that many push-ups. We're mostly tired after we try to keep going. We're trying to, let me knock out 50. Let me knock out 100. Now you're struggling. But it's like once you get that little bit of rest, you got some umph in your step, like to keep going. So literally every hour, I wasn't affected as I would be trying to knock out 50 right then and there. And I did that day after day after day. One day my girl, she sent me a picture of my arm. I was sitting on the couch. She said, my muscle was looking big. I said, okay, the push-ups started to pay off. Yeah, like it's something, like try it, y'all. Try. I'm not doing it to this day. I ain't gonna cap, but it's it's something that is still stuck to me. It's still something that I jump back into doing just because I've done it before and I've seen what it did to my mental, my motivation. But also how it just carried along with Now, recently, I'm spending 30 minutes. Like, when I wake up in the morning, I told myself I was shooting for high goals. I was shooting to just hit home runs. Like, when I wake up in the morning, I want to make sure I spend an hour with God. I want to meditate. I want to pray. I want to do this. After that, I want to eat. I want to go and work out for an hour. I got my kids. Let me get them up for da-da-da-da-da. I'm talking to ChatGPT. Let me get my schedule together. Da-da-da-da. Trying to do the whole thing. The only thing that I'm doing right now is when I wake up in the morning, I've been doing this for the past 4 days. I set my phone for 30 minutes, and I go to my Bible app. I won't answer no calls, no texts, no nothing. I won't eat, no nothing until that 30 minutes is up. Until I'm done with that 30 minutes of being in my Bible app, just because I know I'm not at a place where it's something that I want to do every day. It's not even something that I want to do. It's my identity.
I wanted to share this video that I had been watching on my YouTube. It's like a motivational video by Miles Monroe, and it's called "Talk to Yourself Like This for 3 Days." And pretty much in the video, it's telling you like to break any habit or to start something that you want to do. It literally just take 3 days. If you want to start a business, you gotta tell your mind that first day, okay, this is what I want to do. You prep it. And then the second day, that's like the hardest day because it's whatever you was doing before, you really breaking it from that first day to the second day. And then the third day, you just, yeah, that one right there. And it's like the video is just, he give you words to tell yourself just to talk to yourself. And he like point things out that's just really like mind-boggling, like what he said from the Cam Newton video. It's like you stick to it and you will remember it. So I just want y'all to like remember that. Like it only take 3 days just to start whatever you talk to yourself like this. Yeah, talk to yourself like this for 3 days by Miles Monroe. And it's only a 30-minute video. You know, you can play it while you're driving or whatever. And the nuggets that he give you is just like it stick with you. And just a real great video to watch.
Several years ago, it was a particular product that I was buying, and I received an email saying, "Hey, we're looking for ambassadors to pretty much promote, the product." So I'm like, okay, I'm fit. I'm a runner. Got all these medals on the wall. They say send the information in. Sent the information in. About a month later, they hit me back and was like, "Oh, thanks a lot, but you don't fit our profile." I was like, I don't fit. I'm like, then I went on their website and I said, "Oh, I see why I don't fit their profile. I'm not white and I'm not cut up." So you know what I did? I said, forget them. Created my own brand. Did my own research. Me and my wife started our clothing brand, Boat Running Club, which is a premium, active, and athleisure lifestyle brand. And then I went a step further. I said, you know what? I know people are not going to allow me to sell my merchandise in that store. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to open up my own store. So I opened up the Big Peach store. We're the first black minority-owned running store in the state of Georgia. Less than 4% in the country. It's less than 10 black-owned specialty running stores in the country. So I said, guess what? I don't need them to sell my stuff. I sell my stuff in my own store, and then they're going to have to come to me for me to sell their stuff in my store. So your Nikes, your Mizunos, your Pumas, your Adidas, your Brooks, your own, 9 different brands now have to come to me and say, hey, we want to put our product in your stores. So sometimes you just got to go out there and create those opportunities for you. And for me, it was about not only selling product, and I don't want to get too far away from what you're talking about, but you led me into this. For me, being the first and black-owned specialty running store in the state of Georgia, I have a responsibility to number one, to my community and to other black entrepreneurs in the health and wellness space to carry their product in my store. Now, of course, it has to meet certain criteria, and and I ain't putting nothing in my store that I don't wear or if I hadn't used. Period. I don't care if it's shoes, clothes, nutrition, whatever it is. I pretty much have touched all the product that I'm selling, because I got to be able to talk to you about it when you ask me, when you spend your money, how was this Brooks Max, this Glycerin Max shoe you got on? How does this shoe work for you? And I can be able to say, hey, I love this shoe. I run in this shoe. So for me, it was about creating that space. And we have to do that for ourselves. We can't keep going out here and hoping that somebody see us on Instagram and say, hey, you know, I want you to represent my product. We have to create these avenues and these things ourselves as Black entrepreneurs.
My thing is more so like trial and error, because to his point, when it comes to being aligned with certain brands, like, unfortunately for me, I work and I do a lot of community work in Pittsburgh, Mechanicsville, Summerhill. And so the songs that's on my page is going to be Kendrick Lamar, Future, Lil Baby, because that's my audience. So when I'm trying to reach out to, let's say, a Chick-fil-A, they don't open on Sundays. And so we don't align, but they have philanthropic endeavors where they want to help inner city youth. But, you know, so what I, you know, it's like I'm trying, but had I not put myself in that space, I wouldn't have known that they wasn't rocking with me. So for me, I would say it's a lot about trial and error. Two, to what he said, you know, kind of creating your own lane, creating your own brand. And then once you figure out what it is that you offer and how you're able to put a price on that, you charge them tax. Because a lot of people, you know, I kind of went through a cohort, and I'm going to make this real short, for like 8 months. And they was basically helping me with getting my nonprofit together. And in that, they kept asking me, okay, so you ride bikes. So what does that entail? What does that look like? And before you know it, I had like 80 things listed as to what it takes for one bike ride. From looking at the weather to creating my Instagram, my Facebook, my TikTok. You know what I mean? I got to create all these posts. I got to get the music. I got to add the video. And once he started putting in the time that it took to do that, that's like 5 or 6 hours. But for me, it's 30 minutes. But it took me 4 years to get to 30 minutes. So now when you say what it's going to take for us to partner with you, I'm going to tax you, because it took me those long nights, people telling me, no, your brand ain't this, your brand ain't that. But I'm the only cyclist in the city that's connected with the young people of the city. So my page reflects that. So again, we going to be fresh. You're going to hear all the newest hip-hop tunes, and I'm going to have all the little bad kids that's getting in and out of trouble in the city riding with me. Well, typically, they don't want to ride bikes. They want to go strike, which is break in cars and do all that. They want to get them some money on, so to speak. You know what I mean? So I have to have something that's going to bring them in. So I might not have those partnerships, but it allows me leverage to do what I want to do and take up space how I see fit.
So I'm going to be real quick. The biggest thing I learned from these guys is, like you said, marketing and branding and building that fan base, making it work for you. I don't know this guy. I just met him. I couldn't tell you his name, but I could tell you he's a cyclist, and by his branding, he got a chain on, so he got a conversation. So now he has a fan. So now I'm gonna get behind him, and I'm gonna want to follow whatever he got going on, because the way he's marketing himself, the way he branding himself. You know, my man right here, he said he called him something Jack. That's what his Instagram. So he Rick the Runner. So he has a fan base. He built up his fan base, so now he has a core following. So it's gonna be easy for him to market and push. My guy here said he found he used his tool, which was playing basketball, to find his niche and help push what he got going on. So it's basically using what you got, building that brand and building that core fan base and building that, you know, making it work for you, building that following. Once you get that following, everything else will come to fruition.